Okay, YouTube, so this is Chad Hightower from Campobello, South Carolina, and today is going to be kind of a boring video, but it's necessary to make sure that the head is in proper condition in order to go on the engine block. So we've got our engine block milled flat, and it passes the straightness test. So we need to do the same thing to the head to ensure that when the engine is built and these two components are married up, we don't have any issues long-term or short-term. So what we got is we got the actual cylinder head off of the engine, and we're going to do a cursory inspection on it to see, kind of what the condition is. And my son is running the video today. He's helping me down in the shop, so just kind of bear with the videos here. But so we'll take a good close look at the head, and from what information I've been able to find out is that the casting number of 376 dates this head to somewhere between 1944 and 1945. So the engine is quite an old girl. So we want to try to get her back up to snuff. So let's flip it over and take a close look. And I already know the condition of the head before. I like to know the condition of things before I shoot the video. So I know what we're going to find, but I'm going to tell you that once we see in the video what the issue is, and we'll show you how this would have been corrected in the field, typically by an Army mechanic. And it's a little bit unorthodox, but it works. So we'll flip it over and take a look. Okay, so here's the underside of the head, and here's each one of the combustion chambers. I'm not sure which one is cylinder 1 and which one is cylinder 4. It's kind of not relevant at this point, but you can kind of see the valve pockets here where the valves raise up into the head as the engine runs. And we're going to do the same thing we did with the block. And we're going to do a straightness test with the straightness gauge and kind of see how flat this thing is or unflat it is. So we'll take our gauge and we'll lay perpendicular across the head. And we really want to pay attention to these areas in between the combustion chambers, because that's the thinnest amount of material that the head gasket has to seal. So we want to, pay close attention to those so we know, the condition of the head. So I've got a feeler gauge here, and it's 6/1000 thick. So we're going to take and see if we can slip underneath the straightness gauge in between the combustion chambers. And you can see that the feeler gauge easily slips all the way across the head, except on the edges. Obviously they're not going to slip there. So we know the head is warped, and we're going to get it cleaned up, and I'll try to get some shots of the bead blaster as we're trying to clean this thing up. But we'll go through the cleaning process, and then we'll sit back up on the table and show you how I kind of correct these issues. So stand by. Okay, so we're out of the bead blaster now, and we got the head relatively clean. I mean, we still got some trigger work to do, but that's roughly it. So the next steps, I'm going to take a little bit of Dicom in a can, or machinist ink, and I'm going to spray a light layer on this head and get it colored up. Now we'll wait 5 or 10 minutes and we'll let that dry and we'll be back. Okay, so what I've got here is some 80 grit sandpaper glued, contact glued to a flat surface. And I just would like to say that, you know, if you're precision lapping a part for the space shuttle, obviously this isn't going to work. But for what we're doing, it's the quickest way to do this. I could set the head up in the block mill, but if I set it up in the block mill, I would have to put machinist jacks under all 4 corners of the head and pull down in the center, and that has a tendency to warp these thin heads during the machining process. So I don't want to machine any warp into it. I'm trying to get the warp out of it. So this is typically the way that this could have been repaired in the field by a soldier. But we'll stick it on the paper and give it a shot and see how this turns out. So stand by. Here we go. Okay, so you can see just after a few laps here that where the high spots on the head are, and they're obviously out here on the edges. And you can see where some material is starting to be removed in between the outer combustion chambers. But there's no indication of material being removed in the center combustion chamber. So we're gonna keep hacking away at it and see if she passes the straightness test. So stand by, here we go. That's what we started with. So we're gonna measure our progress. Okay, so we've got about 4 minutes lap time. Okay, so we'll start right here. And the feeler gauge does not pass there, nor does it pass there or there. Okay, so we know we've removed some material. So we'll drop down to a feeler gauge that is 4 thousandths, and we'll see if 4 thousandths passes. Okay, so this is my son, and he's thinking about taking some machine shop classes this year in high school, so I've got him down here with the old man so I can try to pass on a little knowledge to him. So I'm going to teach him how to run a feeler gauge today, and I thought I'd just throw him in on the video. So, okay, so what we've got is we're down to 4 thousandths, and we've got 2 feeler gauges set up so we can kind of move this kind of quickly because I'm limited on time with YouTube. So, all right, so take the 4 thousandths feeler gauge, bud, and I want you to pass it all the way along the head and try to make it slip under the straightness gauge. There you go. Good job. All right, now slide your straightness gauge back 2 inches, right there on those thin spots. There you go. Now let's see what happens. Okay. All right. Okay. Grab the 2 thousandths gauge while you're there, and let's go ahead and pass through with the 2 thousandths and see if we can get it to pass, because that's our trouble spots. No pass? Okay. All right, let's slide the straightness gauge on back toward the back side of the head. Okay. Yep. All right, let's just drop on down to 2 thousandths, and let's see what happens. Good job. There you go. Keep it nice and flat. You want to try to make it go under it if it'll go. Don't force it, but just see if it hangs.
It's not hanging on.
Okay, all right. Move on across the head then. Okay. All right.
Everything looks.
All right. Good job, bud. We'll get you posted on YouTube, and if you have any questions or comments, hey, shoot me an email at chadalhightower or give me a thumbs up or shoot me a comment in the comment blocks. Thank you so much. Out.